Tuesdays on so Sean's channel. After we were on Lisa's channel, you can go check that out. If you have not, we were talking about CZ bowing to BlackRock in the U.S.
If that's what happened.
I think he is. He's Piper for exposing FTX. And look at this. Phil is here. All right. Yeah, good to see you, Chin. Good to see everybody here.
And Phil C made it over.
So, this is my third show today, so I'm really tired.
You said you did it. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to sleep. Yeah, you were a jerk.
Well, I'm
early on a Tuesday after I went to bed at 5 o'clock, which that was my fault. But
I didn't even see your message till like lunch or after lunch. I didn't put my phone.
I had to get up, and then I don't like when there's not many people there because I'm the dumb guy.
Oh,
and
wow.
You missed it. You missed it, Lisa. It was so funny. They were talking like nerd level stuff that you would not believe. You will go watch it. I stream it on my channel.
I will. I'll go watch it on your channel.
But Greg was talking about how stupid the new Mission Impossible movie is. And I was like, I bought that last night. I just bought it last night. It was on sale for $12.99, and I got it. He's like, oh, you wasted your money. The thing was so stupid and unbelievable. And I'm like, why?
Impossible. I'm trying to think of what
they were doing a blockchain transfer on their phone, and they said, oh, and it started saying like code stuff. I had no idea what he was talking about, and how unbelievably stupid it was. And I'm like, nobody knows. I don't know what you're talking about, and no one in the movie.
No one else knew that on the movie.
And then Joe said, was there like a little processing bar that was going across? And he was like, yeah, there was a process, and it said we only have so long to cancel the transfer. And I was like, these are all like normal things that everyone watching would think is fine. And they were talking about like the most obscure, like technical stuff, and how it was like just totally took them out of the movie. $12.99.
Oh, you can't cancel a transfer of crypto. Like, I do get that.
Yeah, but most people don't know that. Like there's only 2 more seconds so we can cancel it. So I'm looking forward to looking at that.
Yeah, I'm curious. Send me a video of that one part, only that one part, because I don't want to watch any of the rest of it.
Okay, so
I'm interested in Mission.
What are we talking about now?
You wanted to talk about, what were we just talking about?
China.
Yeah, the little
going to war with China
conversation. Oh, the war. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So there's this guy, and he's got there's a show called Rare Earth, and they're amazing, like in-depth documentaries into like obscure things.
Okay.
But they're so interesting, super cool. The guy's really nice. It's a great channel, and but the quality is so good.
Oh, really?
Versus like the views. He gets like 500,000 views and stuff. Like even some stuff has millions. But,
wow.
But like, it's you watch it. It's like it looks like something from PBS.
Maybe it is.
No, it's just this dude who has a YouTube channel. Then talks about his dad. He said his dad is an astronaut. His dad's like a rock star astronaut. The astronaut that like played guitar on the space station.
No,
that's his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So they have some kind of tie.
Mm-hmm.
So he just put out this video like a couple days ago that Micronesia. It's Indonesia, Polynesia, Micronesia.
Mm-hmm.
Micronesia is a group of island nations, including Palau. Every country except for Palau is basically under the U.S.'s thumb. Okay. And Palau just like did some kind of independence thing. It's like that's complicated, but like Guam and all these other countries, they're 100%. They're like Puerto Rico without the benefits that Puerto Rico has. They're under the U.S.'s thumb. They're protected by the U.S., but they're also like beholden to the U.S. So the one on the far left, the Mariana Islands, it's this group of islands.
WD-40.
What?
You need some WD-40 on your.
Oh,
microphone thing. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's real
I can.
squeaky. Okay.
So they're this group of islands that is on the far left, so close to Asia, the closest to Asia. The reason this thing is real important is because the president of the Mariana Islands went before the UN like recently and gave this huge speech. It was shocking. No one was expecting it. He basically went up there and like, Taiwan is a sovereign country and China needs to leave, and just laid it all out.
Wow.
Like ballsy,
Well,
crazy.
China's just, or Xi was just here talking with Gavin and Sleepy Joe or whatever.
So obviously it's been a piss China off, like huge. So this guy just happens to be going to this island, this one island in the Mariana Islands. Just happens to be on this one island, staying in this hotel with his wife, and the island's governor just took over. The governor, one governor, whatever. But there's like, it's corrupt politics because it's an island. It's a small, island state, I guess, of the country. So, but it's like everyone knows it's acceptable. One family kind of runs things. So his wife he said his wife wants to go to the other restaurant on the island. There's only two restaurants. So they walk to the other part of the island where this other hotel is and has this restaurant. And the governor's family owns this other hotel and the restaurant. And they got it by like shady means, and that's where the corruption comes in. But anyway, so they get there and they see the governor's SUV out front, which they don't think is that weird because the governor's family owns the hotel. But they go into the restaurant. There's the governor and like some of his people, and there's two obvious Chinese dignitaries. So he sits down and he's like, he starts listening to what they're talking about. And so the Chinese government has taken this guy to China multiple times, wined him, dined him, given him stuff. And he's a complete rube, complete like super idiot, hillbilly kind of guy, right? But in Micronesia. So he's listened to the conversation, and the Chinese guys are trying to like lower their voices and talk, and he's like boisterous and loud. So he even walks over there. He's like, "Hey, you're the new governor. Congratulations! I love your island. We're here, me and my wife." And the guy's like, "Hey, American, look at this is Chinese bigwigs coming here to woo me," and he's just like blurting it all out, right? And so he hears that China is trying to get the country of these island states to side with China against the U.S. and become like a Chinese protectorate.
Which that may be the safest thing to do. Like, be as loud as you can in public, keep you alive. You know what I mean?
No, that's the thing. He's just a rube. Like the island's really small. He said that he bumps into them like 3 more times over the weekend. And so he's thinking, this is like really big. I don't know what to do. Should I talk about it? And then he's like walking around the island. He sees these guys are just drinking beer. And he's like, "Hey, locals, what's up?" Because he's like that's what he does. He's a documentary guy. And he starts drinking beers and getting drunk with these guys. And he's like, and he tells them everything that he heard. And he goes like, "I don't know what to do." And they're like, "You got to tell the president." He's like, "My cousin knows the president." And here's his cell phone number. So he sits there and he texts the president of the islands, and he tells him what happened. So now it's this huge thing. It's all out, So, but China is basically saying that we need you to come to our side because we have to block U.S. Navy from being able to use these waters. So it would force the U.S. Navy, if they back Taiwan, to go out into more open waters, so they would be really susceptible
instead of the inside.
Right, more susceptible to like their submarine attack and stuff like that. But they're like they're pushing to get this done now. So it's like they're laying the infrastructure to attack Taiwan. It's not just well, let's run in there and do it. It's they're ready to fight the United States basically, or to limit what they can do. But I thought that was really a big deal, and it was just odd that this YouTuber that I always thought had really big connections, just always thought he did.
Well, it's ramping up for sure. I know one of my friends, she has two 17-year-old twin boys, and she sent me a picture of a recruiting flyer. And I was like, once again, and I think I tweeted it out and said Satoshi Shawn was right again or something like that. But where is it? I can't find it now. But here it is, U.S. Army. And they also said the jab is not required.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to remove all barriers.
Yeah. And they're not going with that woke shit anymore. They're like, come and fight. We're hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of my niece. She was joining the Air Force before
Mm-hmm.
everything happened, and now she's still sticking with it. But the Middle East thing is crazy. We talked about this. I mentioned this, which I didn't know. Joe told me this and blew my mind, that the majority of the cabinet to the president and a huge amount of our legislative, all like our branches of government, a huge amount of people have dual citizenship
in the U.S.
In the U.S., right? But their citizenship is Israel. So that blew my mind, because I know a few people with, I probably know more people with dual citizenship than most people, because I live by the biggest military base. So, if you're born when you're over there, your mom was pregnant, she gives birth while you're, living somewhere else, you usually have citizenship with that country.
Right, or they marry someone that they meet while they're gone over.
Yeah, they marry a German person. It's
yeah.
So it's much more common here, but just overall, the odds of like 70% of a cabinet having dual citizenship with, and then, we were talking, I was mentioned, like,
is that part of like Nikki Haley's real name is no mitzvah, whatever?
Yeah, I would be. I want to like look into this, like a rabbit hole to me now. I want to find out.
Yeah.
Who has dual citizenship? Because that's kind of crazy. Yeah, Phil, there are a lot of people in Taiwan who are preppers. They're ready.
Well, they're really vulnerable being on an island. Everything's shipped to you, or a lot of things, I would think. So that would make sense.
Well, Japan's an island, but
what?
They almost took over the world.
Not at the same scale.
But it's they're not. It's like Ukraine. They're ready to fight and just die. They're not scared. And I think it's one of the things I think China hates the most. They're not scared. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Even in this mad world, we have a lot to be grateful for. We do. So that was a weird thing. Now, I'm trying to get this in. This is a weird show. This is what I've been thinking of. This is my observations. So I'm watching football last night. Watching the Eagles. It was a really good game. And they're playing the Chiefs. I don't know if you know about football, but so the Eagles have their center is Travis Kelce. And
the one that's marrying what's her face? Taylor Swift.
That's his brother, right?
Okay.
So Travis Kelce really loves Philadelphia. It's like a big deal. He, helped lead them to the Super Bowl, which was like a really moving thing for a lot of people. I grew up like being just picked on my whole life in Texas because, the Eagles never won a Super Bowl. It was a big thing for the city. It was, you don't understand it if you're not one of that, like in that group. but it was a big thing. Um, but he's 38 years old, almost 39 years old. You can pull up a picture of him. He's got gray beard, and he is. Troy Aikman kept saying the whole game. It's like, how is this guy thinking of retiring? He is beating the crap out of everybody. He's like amazing, and he
Maybe
is.
he went to Joe Namath's football camp.
But his brother is also superstar player on the other team. You look at the Mannings. There's a lot of families in if just to get into the NFL is impossible. I was a great football player. I've known great football players in high school where like people would come from other towns just to watch, you know,
Mm-hmm.
your town play because you were so good. And then you get to ride to college, you go to college, and you're like, oh, I am just okay.
Well, didn't that mafia guy just come out and say how all of football is corrupt and rigged and all that? And then
Well,
Joe Namath's childhood football camps just got busted for he has been allowing or looking the other way for all the pedophilia, sex,
I
whatever
don't know.
with Joe
Let
Namath.
me tell my thing.
Okay,
So
well, you're saying it's probably
um,
related.
it is not. It is a very big picture thing. So there's I know two or three people who have kids that are in the NFL. Um, but to get into the NFL, it's like a statistical impossibility. Like you get to college and you think you're great. Everyone I know, you think you're like the badass ass player you're going to play in the NFL. Once you get to college, it's so humbling because you're just a small fish in a big pond, and you go from being like the king of everything, like the hero of your town. You could do whatever you want. The cops look the other way. It's like you go to that, and then you go to college, and you're just okay. So you're not going to the NFL. Is my point. And these people have multiple members of their own family that have made it to the NFL. That's statistically insane. So there has to be something different about the way that those people are raising their kids. There's something in the
Or
family dynamic
something they do.
that
Not it's a big club and you're not in it.
no, it's the thing. It's sports. You might be able to get in, but you're not going to. No, you're not even going to be able to get in because you're not going to come into the NFL unless you can perform. So it's not. It has to be something that they're doing. Um, and so then I started thinking, all these young people can't compete with this 38-year-old man. He's running circles around them. So I started thinking about we're getting weaker. Men, just men in general. We know that more feminized, just weaker in general. And I started thinking about how the human race used to constantly be getting stronger and faster and better. They said that like the 4 minute mile is impossible. The human body just can't do it. The heart would explode. Your lungs would, grow wings and fly away. And this is like real science though. Like, like, you know, in the 1900s, like serious science said you can't do this thing. And then we do it. And then now it's common. It's commonplace. So we keep raising the bar, and we just keep getting better and stronger and faster. And in the face of science, where they say you can't do this, we do it. And then once someone breaks that, then other people start doing it, and then it becomes common. And I was thinking, we're not doing that anymore. People aren't breaking records unless it's like a biological male going into female sports. They're crushing records
Right.
there. But it's like I think we're starting to slow down and go backwards. I think it's by design because of our food isn't food, and you
Mhm.
know, it's we're poisoning ourselves. We're you know injecting ourselves with chemicals out the ass, and I think that it's getting to be obvious what families don't participate, don't like the way you think everything is different because of how your mom raised you. I think it's like that.
Mhm.
And it's the divide between like a regular male and a male that whose parents raised them in the country and they only ate certain things and didn't eat this and you can't have that, no process that. I think it makes a huge difference to where they're normal to how we were like 30 years ago or 40 years ago, um, because I don't see us improving um, as a race anymore. We've kind of plateaued and we're moving backwards. Um, what do you think on that?
I like that thought. I don't like it, but I understand the train of thought that you're on. I think you're right on with the whole, we know that they wanted the dumbing down. We know that adding the fluoride to the water and what that does to people and not thinking for themselves and the indoctrination camps at the government schools. And um, it's all been created, strategized to create this outcome. And when you talked about Israel or Gaza being the open air prison,
Mhm.
I think people are going to be pretty shocked to find out that America is not too far behind. I mean, we're forced to pay taxes like slaves. Our food system is terrible. Our school
Yeah,
system is terrible. We don't have a choice in a lot of things. And so when that can be corrected and we have to correct it, we have to be the ones that rip the bandage. We have to be the ones that do the thing. That's where the thumbnail I used on my channel was like, an idiot will go stab someone in the back with a knife, and a wise man will take that same knife and cut the cord and go build something new.
there's so much just in our regular food that's illegal in like Europe and like most most other countries, and we it's like we're fine with it. I don't get why people don't freak out about that. I mean, I remember like back in the 80s and 90s, we were people getting angry like the FDA because they would stop like drugs that could help people, and they're approved in Europe and they're approved in other countries, and people would have to go to those countries to get treatment. And like, why isn't it approved here? It's like, oh, because they haven't gone through this special, what we want them to do. Um, and people were mad about that, and things kind of changed. And then that was one of the things that Trump did. That was the beginning of Trump Ranger syndrome. I remember because he made it so that you could, if you're dying, you can take the
Right.
law doesn't apply to you. You can get, any kind of experimental drugs. You can just get to sign like a waiver. You're not going to sue anyone, whatever, but you can get whatever treatment you want, and the law can't stop you. And I was like, that's awesome, isn't it? And people were like, nah. Did you know he said this? And I'm like, dude, you can't argue with that.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
But that was the beginning. I mean, Obama set the standard for it, and I'm so sick of the division where like two wrongs don't make a right, but like we think it does. When someone says, "Hey, putting kids in cages is terrible. Trump's a monster," and then you say, "Well, Obama made the cages. He had one that actually put him into," and then nobody cares. Like the first thing is,
When people say that, I don't think they're saying it's right. I think they're trying to educate the people of like, I know you think Trump did that, but he didn't. That
no,
was Obama doing
that's
it.
because you're a little bit smarter than most people. It's literally like, hey, your wrong makes my wrong okay because I'm just doing your wrong again, and it's like that has to stop being the argument. It has to be
Especially when both sides hurt the people.
yeah,
That's the part the people need to start listening to is, wait a minute, both of their wrongs, as they're in Congress arguing, hey, everything they did to us last time, we're going to do back to them, and not thinking about the consequence all fall on we the people's shoulders.
and
And
it's
we're
hard.
going to pay for
Like,
them.
like the Nikki Haley thing. We're like, yeah, it's great. She said this is banned speech. I'm like, that's banned speech. You're like, it is banned speech. Dude.
Then you think about it, you're like, wow, that's really dangerous.
It's all temporary. Like, yes, she's in control, and blah right now, but what if she gets thrown out? What if she's connected to some bullshit indictment? What if she just loses the next election, and the next person comes in is like way on the left and starts banning all these other things from happening?
Sarah
Yeah,
Huckabee, not Nikki Haley. Yeah.
it's like that's why it can't happen. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and that needs to be. And there wouldn't be any arguing. There wouldn't be all this division if someone said, "Hey, it's wrong to put kids in cages." Like, yeah, I don't like it, man.
Well, it goes back to the Black Lives Matter thing. All lives matter. Or how did you say it? If they had changed it, I can't remember the way you wanted to change it.
If they added 2 letters. If 2, that's it.
Well, that would be 3 letters because it would be TOO to be grammatically correct. But yes, 3 letters.
Yeah, you're homeschooling, it shows.
Sorry.
So, yeah, that's it. 2.
Letters 2.
That's it. Everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, sure does. They sure do.
That's right.
And then because everyone's like, why are you mad when I say all lives matter? It's like, because you're taking it away from me. You're saying that. And like, how do I saying that Black lives don't matter if I'm saying all lives matter?
Yeah, that's
and that's not us out. It's not something. It's just that us versus them stuff. But the us versus them. The only time stuff ever got done in the country is when there was unity with different kinds of people. Americans. When Americans said, "Hey, we're Americans. Let's fix this shit." Black people were treated terribly. There's an echo, I think, on your side.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's echo. Yeah, there was an echo. So with the invention of television, all of a sudden there's riots and marches that white people and mainly white, youth see on the invention of television. They're like, "Oh, that's terrible. That can't happen in my country." And they all unite, and stuff got changed. So that's one of the biggest reasons why the government and the powers that be try to keep people at each other's throats, or at least not joining up or not friendly together, because that's what scares the crap out of them.
Right. For sure. No, and it is all the distraction and the effort and division is pretty evident. When one issue starts fading. There was one of the J6 videos came out where it was Pelosi's daughter, which I don't know why she has so much power or why she's in all these conversations, but and she was like, okay, I know, like, I mean, it's not even a real insurrection. Like, they're walking around there, some dudes out there smoking pot and some other thing, like, oh, an insurrection is supposed to be military action, blah, blah, blah. She's explaining all this. And then the guy off camera or to her side or something goes, yeah, what we really need out there. Because she said, look, all this is going to blow over. They're going to stop talking about it and whatever. And she was talking about how the media really controls it. And then he goes, yeah, what we really need is a war. And then what happened right after that? Ukraine.
Yeah.
And there was a news article that came out that apparently the day of the J6 thing that Trump had information about her brother, Pelosi's brother, like raping a 11 and 14-year-old with a gang of other people that was supposed to come out like that day or something. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah. But I remember yesterday, I was just sitting there watching football, and it was like, it's weird how people, because we say, men are getting weaker. That's the whole thing of like Andrew Tate and all these, pro-male movements is just like, be a man, don't stop being a girly man. And when I'm like watching it in front of my face, I'm like, this dude has to have done something different. He's almost 40 years old. That was impossible in the NFL. So I talked to kids about it, and I was like, I don't watch a lot of soccer, all the European sports. I was like, we started talking about like Messi and um, Ronaldo and then I started talking about Pele. I was like, are they like on the same level with Pele? Like that was my big dude in soccer when I was a kid, and he said, "Oh, you know what? They wouldn't have been able to handle it or to have any kind of long term stuff in that day and age." And it's true, man. Everyone is. I mean, specifically, men are becoming weaker and obviously more feminine and all that, but just physically. And I want to start looking into like powerlifting records and stuff like that because records were constantly being broken. Like that was the goal. If you're close, then I can break that record. I can do it. And once the record's broken, it like unlocks. It's like a video game. It unlocks it for everybody.
It's like what Keith was talking about when we had him on talking about the supernatural thing. Once the mind can break that imaginary wall of, oh, that's not possible, then you're free. Your body can do all kinds of crazy stuff once your mind is free from that.
Yeah, it is like it unlocks it.
Mm-hmm.
It's something no one ever did. No one ever could run a 4 minute mile. And as soon as one person did, it's like
Mm-hmm.
the next year there was like more, and now it's like you're just really fast. You run a 4 minute mile, it's really fast. Um,
That's pretty wild to think about for sure.
yeah, but literally, like scientists would say that your heart would explode. You can't do this. You can't. It's just the human body can't do it. Like for cars, they said that if you were in a car and the car went over 50 miles an hour, like your skin could get ripped off. It's just too fast. Um, yeah, that was like a real thing.
Okay.
That you can watch like old like science like movies where they're talking about it, and they're like that much G forces and blah blah blah. Your skin will be ripped off. Um, but yeah, this the whole thing about trust the science. That's literally the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Science is literally don't trust it.
Right. That's the whole point of science, is having a theory.
You have to question
It's
everything.
questioning everything. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
it's, but people spouted it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so it's like it's idiocracy, man. It is.
I agree.
We've gotten to that point. It is so bad. But I don't know. Like, tell me what you think in the comments. If you think I'm right about this, how like we're starting to see the actual decline in physical form, physical strength. I am weaker than I've ever been in my entire life. I hate how weak I am. It's embarrassing. I've been the big, nice, strong guy since I was 12 or 10. Um, exactly. That is true. Separation of church and state needs to be a separation of science from religion. Science is religion. It's just like I always said that there's no such thing as an atheist. An atheist is not real. I've never met an atheist who's an atheist. Um, because they're so, it's their religion. I mean, we have the term lukewarm Christians. There's no lukewarm atheists. That's not a real thing, man. Any atheist, they're just it's their religion. They're like it's like they want to convert everyone.
Yeah.
They're like a Christian on fire. So it's like, dude, you understand that you have a religion. Your religion is atheism.
Mm-hmm.
An agnostic, okay, that can be a real thing. Like I don't know, I don't think so. That's fine. Yeah, I can believe that. But there's no atheists. It's not a real thing. They are just too. It is a religion to be an atheist. Um, I like the movie De-Evolution, both physically and IQ.
Yeah.
It is true. And the
Mhm.
lower testosterone, those are all like trackable things that we've been talking about for like a decade. And I think
Think
that
about Planned Parenthood being on every corner and the amount of chemicals that are ingested and then go in our water systems,
mhm.
and everyone drinks it. Like, I don't know that they can really take all that out. Not to mention that most of Big Pharma now runs and owns our largest farms
Yeah.
that we eat from. So there's hormone changing or responding plants. Then you get into 3M, and you can look up DuPont and all of those stories of,
Who's the other big one? Archer, Daniel, Midland.
I don't know. I just know the DuPont and the 3M.
They're like the behind the scenes
Non-stick
thing. Yeah.
surfaces that were causing women to have like deformed babies and all of this. Like, it causes a hormonal chemical reaction in your body. Then we start microwaving our food in the 80s, I think.
Yeah.
And then, now let's put it in plastic and microwave it in plastic.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll be fine.
But the worst thing is the non-meat meat, like
For sure.
the Whopper,
The thicken,
the Whopper. You know
the pink slime.
the Possible Whopper.
Mm-hmm.
There's more estrogen in that than I think a full day or a full week of that someone takes from if they're transitioning
Wow.
from a male to a female. So like his ass was like, "Did you ever try it?" I'm like, "I was gonna just to try it, see what it tastes like." But then when I learned that, I was like, "No, I'm not even,
Did you see the picture of John Legend where he's got like breasts? They've got a picture of him with his shirt off and he's like got breasts. Like, I don't know if that's from like he's really a girl or if he just had like too much soybeans or, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very like I said, our food's not food. Like they have lab grown meat that's real. It's like meat, but it's all lab grown and fake. But it's way more expensive to go that route than to kill an animal and eat it. But yeah, I want to look into it more because I think we're finally seeing, like, if people keep doing this and testosterone levels keep dropping, this is going to happen. This is going to happen, and I think it's happening. I literally think we're starting to see the decline. And I'd like to look at statistics for like, strength type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Records that are, what's
look at what's weird to me is a bunch of the kids, my adult kids and their friends are like looking into like having trouble having babies, then low T stuff with that, and the girls having all these problems with their like needing like a DNC before they can even get pregnant or having hormonal issues or whatever. Like, lot more reproductive issues right now in that age than I've ever heard before.
Yeah, I mean, part of that, I guess, is because they're waiting longer, but
no, they're like 23, 24 years old. They're not. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people I know they're waiting until they're like in their 30s or something.
No, not these.
Not stupid like 19-year-olds. Yeah.
Well, not 19.
Let's have a baby.
25.
Let's 20. Have twins twice. Won't be. All right.
It's a great idea.
Okay. Well, it's good hanging out with you. Remember to like, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment afterwards so you're registered to win some crypto. I think that's it for like the rest of the week.
Yeah, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
Have a good Thanksgiving. We're not doing the Thursday show because it's Thanksgiving. We did the crypto rednecks. We're not doing that this Friday. Oh, I did want to tell you something. You remember we talked about last week? Black Friday is like becoming a bigger holiday.
Yeah.
I was watching the game last night, and pops up the first Black Friday football. It's like literally every holiday is connected with, it's like, do the holiday, watch football.
The Navy had a big Instagram post of this like black Kraken helmet, number 23, all black football uniform.
So there's Black Friday. This now Black Friday. I'm wondering if they're going to make it a bowl, like the Black Friday bowl. I guess where you have to watch it on Amazon. So it's all freaking Amazon, which they own a lot of sports now too. But yeah, so watch the Black Friday Bowl probably coming soon. But it's just the Black Friday football game. But it's literally becoming a holiday in every aspect of the even like Valentine's Day. There's not a football event. It's always Thanksgiving and Christmas, 4th of July maybe. There's a bowl game, and if there is a Black Friday bowl, I'm just gonna be like, that's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous.
I'm gonna try to do. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. How to do like a live Saturday for small business on my new Mighty Merchants Mercantile channel.
Yes.
And so maybe I think I'm going to pull all the Christmas stuff and do like a live, and then try to have links, or I'll have a link to like the Etsy store, or eBay or Etsy. I don't know. You could do either one, but like show people the actual item, and then that way I could be like streaming live and chatting with people on Saturday, and
that will be fun.
So I could show them some stuff and maybe get some sales, because you should be shopping local on Saturday. Yes. Forget Black Friday. Stay home.
Well, I'm sorry about China, and we're fixing to. I know it's coming. It's coming sooner than we think.
Leave none alive. To war!
It's coming. All right, you guys take care. Love you. We'll see you next week. Have a great Thanksgiving.
All right.
Have a great Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and
Shop Small Saturday.
Shop Small Saturday.
That's right.
It's all weekend long, man. But okay. Well, y'all take care. Love you.